What is going on, guys? Good to see you guys in here this morning. You both killed it yesterday. Elijah with SCKT nearly getting the top on that. That was absolutely killer yesterday morning. That was fun. Coin MNOV off the scanner yesterday. Killing it, bro. Yeah, MNOV was money. Money. So you got this top right here, coin, coming up to around 12 bucks. And Elijah in KODK 695. Man, you guys are doing great. Awesome, awesome work. Kimberly, geez, that's what I'm saying too. All right, guys, we got a few stocks to look at today. Yesterday, posted my chart. I took OMI out of the gates. That one ended up turning back around, breaking through resistance. Still going to be watching that one today. AMD, I got this one. Obviously, took profits a little early. This one, the game plan yesterday morning was up through 71 and ended up scaling up through that and then ended up fading on back pretty nice. Coming back down to this trend line here. What kind of threw me off with AMD was right before the market opened, this thing had a nasty sell-off from 70.75 all the way down to 69.30. Kind of irritated me a little bit because I was really wanting to pop up through 71 right out of the gate. So I ended up starting a little early, FOMOing into it. Today, really going to be watching out for that. Just spreading out my, when I'm scaling into them, spreading those out a little bit, being more patient. P-A-Y. Patient with a P-A-Y. And then another one I traded, ECOM. Going to be watching this one today as well. That one selling off right out of the gates. But today, guys, we got a couple crazy stocks taking off. KODK is still working. Elijah in this from around the 695 area. KODK still working. And this one, what's the news here? Let's pull it on up. Let us pull it on up. KODK, very active pre-market this morning, as you guys can see up here on our Intensity Stock Watch scanner, the gap up watch list. KODK, 18 million in the float, and guess how much volume's traded on this, guys? 24 million shares have been traded on KODK. That's why I like this scanner in the gap up watch list this morning, because we can see if the float's already been rotated. Same with FRAN. See here, 3 million. It's got 3.3, nearly 3.4 million shares traded. So they've already exchanged hands, the whole entire float. Well, KODK this morning, they're up towards a 2.5-year high after a report that the print and advanced materials and chemical companies secured a $765 million government loan to help with the production of drugs to treat a variety of medical conditions. So trading volume ballooned to 10.3 million shares, compared with a full day average of about 272,000 shares. And that's something I really like to look for as well, especially on the charts. And you can see that. When you're looking at these daily charts, you can really see that average volume. So KODK on an average day trades, what, 207,000 shares? Above average volume means what? Above average range. And we see that. See this volume down here? Up towards 100 million shares. And look, above average volume created above average range. These candlesticks are very large. And so that's what we're going to see here today with KODK still holding on up, taking on off. So let's certainly keep that on watch this morning. Yesterday, the leading gapper was SCKT. Now, what happened with this stock? This stock opened up, had a little pop and drop and fade. And that hasn't been the only one this week. I mean, SCKT, yesterday's leading gapper, there's been a lot, and we've gone over all of them. A lot of these leading gappers on, what's today, Tuesday? So ENT on Friday, leading gapper, did the same exact thing on Friday. It was up in pre-market, and then it had a pop, and then drop. Short sellers took over, and this thing faded all day. It looks so similar, ENT, to SCKT, does it not? These charts look exactly the same, and this is why I really like to look at a lot of these charts, because you get an idea of the sentiment of the market, especially in the smaller cap field. Get an idea of the sentiment going into these. You know, what is happening in this kind of market? These lower priced, lower float stocks, they're getting a lot of hype in pre-market, and Elijah's on the, he's doing the right thing right now, because these are good plays in pre-market. This is when the opportunity's here in pre-market on these plays. Elijah's been killing these in pre-market, and that's where you want to be playing them if you're going to be long in them. Otherwise, when the market opens on up, these stocks are not really sustaining these moves. And not surprising, what goes up must come down. So same story with most of these stocks. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be trading KODK. Most of our leading gappers have been popping at the start of the day and then fading. It's not surprising. The stock's up from $2.75 up to $9. When a stock triples its value, it's not surprising that it's going to give some back. Our other stock leading gapper this morning is FRAN. This is a very low float stock as well. FRAN, $3 million in the float, highlighted yellow. That's what that means. Very small nano cap stock. It's already exchanged its entire float, right? It rotated the entire float, nearly trading 3.8 million shares of volume. It broke this whole dollar, very steep trend here, and already looking a little heavy here. FRN, the news they came out with was what? Came out with some earnings. Accelerated sales in the second quarter. Shares soar 42% after second quarter outlook. Forecast sales increase. So these stocks at the moment are going to be what? Somewhat of, in pre-market here, what we've been seeing is people have been buying the dip and then selling the spikes. So let's just keep in mind, open of the day is going to be very telling, because most of the time these stocks open up, they have a spike, and then they fade the rest of the day. So just keep that in mind, especially with FRAN, because it wasn't that long ago with Fran that we did see a very large move as well. This was in early July, from 380 up to around 775 as well. And this one always comes back to the trend. Where's the trend? Draw it out right here. Always comes back down to it every time it goes up. So, I'm not going to buy high and hope higher. I've already kind of missed the move. If you're here in pre-market, that's when these plays are live and active in the morning. All right, yesterday, guys, I completely missed this. Usually I'm done trading around 10 o'clock or earlier. I'm usually not trading after 10. I usually take my trades and I'm done for the day. But VXRT, we did go over this one yesterday morning. And guess what happened here? If you guys were here and you remember what we were talking about, VXRT, it came right down to this trend line. 975 is what I was looking for. It actually broke a little below it, but we see this lower shadow. And that's why I always trade the over-under rule. If it's going to break and have a fake out breakout, I'm not cutting exactly when it touches, a specific support level, because we see these lower shadows so often. Normally I'll let them break and then see how they're going to react to that level. That's what we saw with VXRT. Came right down to this support we had drawn. That's what we were looking for. It just happened around 11:30. I wasn't here, but ended up being a very solid play. 975 if you would have got it. And scaled into it, back up towards 1130s. VXRT, not a bad play at all. Look at this inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. Really, really pretty on VXRT. Inverse head and shoulders. So, buy fear, sell euphoria. That's what we do. That's what intensity is all about with these intensity scanners that we trade. Buying fear, selling euphoria. All right, let's get into a few stocks on the short side we're looking at this morning. Obviously, you guys are well aware of the leading gappers. We just got into those. But several of the stocks from yesterday I'm still going to be watching today as well. Coin, I caught that VXRT dip bounce, missed the bottom, but got it at 950. Yes! Nice. Got it at 950 to 1025. Heck yeah, man. Nice work. Kimberly, big government loan to provide drug material. Yeah, the KODK was considered to be a weed. Yeah, the KODK has been. They've been considered every kind of stock out there. Been a wild, wild play. All right, let's get into some. Yeah, some of the stocks from yesterday. I'm gonna be watching today as well. AMD, still going to be watching this one. What I like about this chart is it's still overbought, overextended. We did see an upper shadow yesterday up through 71. That's kind of what I was looking for. I wanted to see a wall of sellers up through that whole dollar entry right there. What we have is support around 68 and resistance around 70. So it's kind of channeling between the both of these right now. I'd like to see another pop this morning on AMD back up towards 70 and then kind of slowly scale into it. Yesterday, I was a little oversized and a little too quick. Had a little FOMO on it. So today, I really want to time my entries well. If I'm going to be trading this one, could be even scaling in up to my initial entry up towards the previous close right there around 69. And then being patient with it. They don't have to work like the second you get into them. And most of the time they don't, and I don't really want them to. What I'm looking for is to scale into a nice setup. AMD provided that yesterday. It was a nice play. The next one I want to be watching again, OMI. OMI, paid us right out of the gates. That was fine. Came up to resistance. This line we had drawn, it failed that. I'm not here past 10 o'clock usually, but this one ended up breaking out, and now we're going to see it probably try to hold these areas that were resistance, now turning into support right here around 1525. I still like this one. I'm still the idea here today is going to be kind of a pop risking off of the previous high, 1622-ish. I'd like to see a pop on OMI out of the gates and then kind of back down to this 1530, 25-ish area. That's kind of the idea here on OMI today. Going to be watching for that. ECOM, I still like this one. This one kind of paid us right out of the gates as well, but ended up turning back around too. I mean, they don't always fade 100% of the time. Sometimes they will turn back around. And ECOM did just that. It's going to be opening up right at its previous close, so I'm going to be certainly watching this one again today. Here's our chart. It's still way off the trend and really overextended. 22 is kind of where that upper shadow is. So I'm certainly going to be watching this one for that as well. On Friday, we got a pop from 18 up towards $20. Yesterday, we saw a little fade out of the gates. So either scenario, I will be looking for this one to kind of pop for a scale and risking off of 22. It's going to be opening up right at that trend line around $21 though. Yeah, I'm super excited, Coin, that you got VXRT yesterday. Heck of a job. Awesome work there. CNXM, I really like this one off our banner scan watch list this morning. I don't have shorts here, unfortunately, but it was one I liked a lot. I like the daily, what we saw here. Big upper shadow, signifying what? Wall of sellers, absorbing orders. Lots of sellers moving into this. We do have this trend line from yesterday. It's going to be opening up right beneath that. That's at around 811. 811, that trend. So previous close and yesterday's support line. That is now resistance. So many different variables lining up there. I still want to go over some of these plays because you may be at a different broker than me. I'm at CMEG. This is one I don't have shorts for this morning, but you may. So CNXM, not a bad one to watch as well. Kind of like that bouncy ball effect, right? We see a pop, comes down to the trend, bounces, comes back down to the trend, and then just slowly, the bounces get a little smaller and smaller and ends up cracking that. So let's see what that's going to do at the open around the close as well. KODK, FRAN, our leading gappers, both doing essentially the same thing at the moment. These are both little pumpy, and like I just went over what we saw this entire week, SCKT, very pumpy in pre-market, pops and fades. ENT from last Friday, Very pumpy in pre-market, pops and fades. So the plays are in pre-market. If you're going to be trading those, the plays are in pre-market. Do like Elijah does. Get up at like 4 a.m. or whatever time you get up, Elijah. 4 or 5 a.m. and be ready. Or play them on the short side. But they're a little bit more difficult on the short side. Like I said yesterday, AMD was going to be a little tricky on the short side because if you've been trading with me for a little while, you know that I like the easy setups. I really do. I try to keep it very easy. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I try to do that every single morning. And how I keep it simple, stupid is I have very distinguishable risk. I keep a risk guide. AMD was more challenging for me because when you're at all-time highs, very overextended, it's a nice setup. It's a nice setup for a short like it was yesterday up through 71. The problem is you can't really risk off of a certain level. You have to kind of, for me, I'll keep my P&L up so that I can see, my sizing. I can tell how heavy I am on the stock if I'm oversized, kind of my risk. I do have a max risk, so I need to keep that on watch, when I'm trading a bunch of these. Where am I at on the stock? Am I at full position? Do I need to kind of reduce my position, size down a little bit? So I kind of have to go off of the P&L when I'm in a stock where I don't have, chart, when I don't have distinguishable chart resistance that I'm kind of going off of. Because people say, what, trade the chart, don't trade your P&L. That's true. But sometimes you can get a little oversized in a stock, correct? And you don't really know where you're at. But that's AMD. I like the setup from yesterday. Overbought, kind of had a doji-ish star yesterday. I want to be seeing how it's going to open on up. It's opening up in the middle of support and resistance from the last couple days. Certainly its trend is going to be much lower, but 68 has been holding up several times Friday and Monday. So going to be keeping those areas on watch today. But it's a shorter watch list this morning. Most attention is on KODK, FRAN. But I just want you guys to be well aware for this market day. If you haven't already, guys, hit that like button. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to hit me up in the comment section below. I'm going to write some of these out for you. Elijah, 4:30 every morning. Now, that's dedication, guys. That is dedication. That is the recipe for success. Yeah, Kim. CMEG, you can trade pre-market. No problem at all. After hours, pre-market, doesn't matter. All right, there's kind of idea today. Leading gappers, KODK, FRN. If you weren't here, be advised. SCKT, ENT on Friday are leading gappers. They pop and failed all day. So if you are long, just please keep that in mind and trade accordingly. Brad, SOHU, looking at that one for a short this morning. I think I pulled that one up. SOHU. We can take a look at it real quick. Yeah, you're right, Brad. It doesn't look bad. Look at this nice little ascending triangle kind of breakout on it yesterday. Little flat top ascending triangle breakout. KODK ended up breaking though in after hours. So just keep this resistance area, which is now support, in mind, 1550. Yeah, I like this one as well. It's a little thin, but not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I like this one too. It's not bad. Do we have shorts here, Brad? We do. Yeah, kind of like that one. We'll see if it pops out of the gate. See if SOHU pops out of the gate. Yeah, Kim, there's going to be FRAN. There's all the shorts are probably eaten up at the moment on CMEG. KODK, you know, we have shorts at CMEG for it. We certainly do. You guys know I like to, what do we just say? Keep it simple, stupid. A lot of times these oversaturated plays with so much volume can be really manipulative. Up and down, ups on both sides. It's just oversaturated with volume, and I like the easier plays. KODK's at all-time highs. I don't really, you know, what I'm going to need to see on KODK is kind of a, what do they call it? I'm going to have to see like a big death candle. I think that's what they call it. Death candle. I need a high day to risk off of. Because I'm telling you, I get dangerous when I'm just like shorting into something with no visual risk guide. So I will need to see like a little death candle on it, then I can risk off of that. 920s, 20s magic number. We'll keep that in mind. But yeah, KODK, I'm not giving into the news. Doesn't matter. We trade the chart. The chart is it. And we've seen ENT, SCKT. We know what happens with these stocks. So for me, I kind of want to wait for a death candle on KODK. I really don't want to get in front side and have something I'm fighting. I don't want to fight anything today. And watch me, I'm going to end up fighting everything. But I like to keep it simple. Very simple. Just get my money and go. Coin KODK, not many sellers past 10. Elijah, anyone remember when KODK had a PR that they said they were going to have a crypto? Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, KODK, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, they'll ride any train. This was probably this right back here, Elijah. Yeah, because this is an 18. Yeah, this was definitely it. I really remember that too. Glad you brought that. Man, time flies. Dude, I remember that like it was yesterday, December of 18. I really do. This pump. Yep, that crypto pump that they were going to get into it. Deja vu for a second there. Yeah, Kim, wasn't waiting for a death candle mean you missed the short? Somewhat. Yeah, you're right. Somewhat. But look how often up in here, it looks like such an easy short though. It's getting so overextended, and I could have easily seen myself getting short, at $7. Look at that trend reversal right there, that doji star, and I don't want to be add forever into a stock. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And this stock's really grindy at the moment. So what I want to see is kind of longs getting trapped, especially with a stock that has so much volume on it. I just want to see longs getting trapped. When I'm looking for these short plays in the morning off the Bearscan watch list, what I'm really looking for is longs that are underwater from the day before, and there's no volume, to sustain it. A lot of these stocks that we look at, well, I mean, for example, the one I like this morning is CNXM. And what do we see here? We see a lot of longs from yesterday in this stock, and they're trapped. I mean, they're underwater. They didn't get a gap up in after hours pre-market. There's light volume. They're going to be selling. There's going to be panic selling. And you're going to see profit taken and small losses and then big loss. You're just going to see it kind of escalate, snowball. With KODK, what do we have right now? We have shorts underwater. There's people, it's ETB. I mean, ETB means what? Easy to blow up. There's a lot of shorts already on this, and that's why this is getting an explosive move. And so I don't really want to add to the snowball effect of it. I want to wait until I can see that there's longs underwater, get a death candle, and they get a pop back up, and I can kind of risk off of the the high of that move. It's a good question. I hope that kind of gives you an idea, kind of what I'm thinking going into some of these stocks. Yeah, so I like to see them. I like to see them open up, kind of a little. I like to see them open up a little lower than the prior day with very light volume. That's really what I like to see a lot of times with these overbought stocks, because most of the time, the majority of the time, they will either snap right out of the gates, or they may see a little buy, a little pop, and then we'll go green to red. We see it all the time, all the time. But yeah, Coin INTC looks like it's bottoming out a little bit. Massive red days here, not bad. Yeah, coming down to somewhat of supportish down in that area. Tina, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Is VXRT dead after the bad news? I really didn't look at the news on it, but all I was looking for was the chart. Trade the chart. That's all I was doing on it yesterday, trading the chart. 975 ended up being a nice entry on it. If you guys traded that, I know Coin got it. Ended up working on out really, really well. But I don't see the news on it, and I really don't trade the news all that much. VXRT. Yeah, is that it right here? VXRT. But yeah, I wouldn't allow the news to bias you that much. Most of the time we're just looking at headlines to see what's hot, what sectors are hot. But it's funny, like I've seen stocks with the best news out there, and they get short sold into oblivion. The stocks with terrible news, all the stocks I've ever seen with terrible news, all the stocks I've ever seen go parabolic, and we got to wrap this up. We got 50 seconds. All the stocks I've ever seen go parabolic have had the worst news ever on them. And it was like DRYS, IBIO, some of these crazy stocks out there that have gone parabolic. And why is that? Because the short interest is massive. There's so many shorts on it, and then algos come in and take them all out. It goes crazy. When everyone's saying this stock is short, is terrible, let's short sell it, is when that's a recipe for a stock to go parabolic. Guys, we got 20 seconds till the market opens on up. Hit that like button. Let's get it. It's going to be a killer day today.